Hello everyone, this is Deekster Caddy. I wanted to show you a couple things. We have a 2008 Volkswagen Passat, and we were recently left stranded when the electric parking brake failed in the on position with an electrical fault that left the brakes locked up in the back, or one of them. We were able to put that frozen wheel up on a wheel dolly and move it around. But I wanted to show you a couple things. There's a little trick you can do to get yourself unstuck with a couple of common Volkswagen tools. This is 2008. It has 130,000 miles on it. It's a manual transmission car, so we use the parking brake all the time. So our failure may come before other people's. But I understand these are a pretty common repair on this car. Generally, the repair is replace the rear caliper. That's all well and good if you can get the rear caliper off, but if the parking brake is stuck on, the brake is frozen to the rotor. So you have to relieve that pressure before you can get the caliper off. And in our case, we couldn't get the car in a place where we could work on it. So I brought my jack and a jack stand down to where the car was stuck, and crawled underneath the car and took the parking brake motor off. This is the brake motor. It is removable and you can replace it separately from the caliper. All you need to do to take it off is get yourself a Torx bit, which is, there's a T30 bit. And this is my replacement caliper, so I'm going to just show you out here. But all you have to do, you can do this from underneath the car. You can even do it while the wheel is still on the car. You take these two bolts out. And it's a little harder to do when you're under the car on your back, but it is possible. And then you have to wrestle a little bit to get this motor off, because although it's only those two bolts holding it on, there's also an O-ring that seals it from outside moisture and some grease in there, and sometimes you just have to work it back and forth to get that O-ring loosened up, and it will come off. And once it's off, the screw that drives the piston in and out is in typical Volkswagen fashion. Let me see if I can turn my flash on so you can see that light in some better light. It's a triple square spline inside that. It's a 12 point. So if you work on your Volkswagens, you'll have a set of triple square sockets, and get out the one that's sized M8. And from underneath the car still, with this still mounted on the car and everything installed, you can get this M8 triple square socket in, put a ratchet on it, and a little bit of force, you can start to unscrew it, and you can unscrew the parking brake and get yourself so that you can drive the car again. You don't want to unscrew it too far, or it will be in that parking brake out situation where I don't think there's actually a problem driving it that way for a short distance, but you don't want to leave it that way, but your parking brake won't work anymore. So the first time this happened to us, the teeth on the drive gear or the splines inside that screw head just became worn out, and the motor would spin but didn't have enough grip to actually turn the screw, and the motor would just spin and spin and spin and had stripped out. So we got a new caliper. That was about 6 months ago, and now we're having an electrical fault on the same one. So we had to do the same thing. We had to take it off. I had to unscrew the piston so we could drive the car home, and I could work on it here. And that's one way to get yourself out of a little pickle with these cars with the electromechanical parking brake.